Hey everybody, welcome to Ron on Report. I'm honored to have this man on with me right now. He is the only man in bodybuilding history to win both the 212 Olympia title and the Mr. Olympia. He is only the second man in 60 years of Olympia history to lose the Mr. Olympia title and win it back. Please welcome all the way from Florida, Derek Lunsford. Thank you, Derek. Thank you for joining us.
Ron, it's good to be here, man. Finally catching up after quite some time, huh?
Yeah, since the MD days, and that's already been over 2 years now.
Yeah. It's good to be back here, man.
So, yeah, I obviously didn't get to talk to you after Olympia. So that's my first question. What was it like getting your title back? Because like I said, Cutler in 2009 was the only guy who's ever done it before. So the odds weren't great, but you did it.
Yeah, in this game, history doesn't really repeat itself too often, I don't think. So for this to be the outcome of this year after winning the Arnold Classic and being the first ever Pittsburgh Pro Champion, finishing off the year, getting my Mr. Olympia title back and winning the Triple Crown. I mean, man, what more could someone ask for, especially, me coming from small town Indiana, looking up to a guy like Jay Cutler as my inspiration. Now I'm, the second person to ever lose and get the title back. So it's unbelievable. And you know me, you know how strong my faith is in Jesus Christ. And I just give him all the glory, honor, and praise because, as you're rattling off these accolades, truthfully, man, I believed in myself from the beginning, but I never imagined that my career would be what it is. So I have to give God all the praise for that, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think back, you haven't been a pro that long. You turned pro in 2017. That was 8 years ago. And, in that time, you've already won all the big titles. You've won 2 different Mr. Olympia titles. You won the Arnold Classic, this first Pittsburgh Pro. It's crazy to think back how far you've come in what's really a very short amount of time, if you think about it that way.
Yeah, what's crazy is I spent 5 years trying to get the 212 title. It kept eluding me, and I just thought every year, man, am I ever gonna win this 212 Olympia title? And then now to move into the Open these last 4 years and have success in this way, it's crazy, man.
Yeah. So what really impressed me about the win was this. This happened somewhere around a month out. Man, I've had full muscle tears. I imagine this wasn't a full pec tear, but deek, look at that. So when did this happen? Was this exactly like 30 days out, somewhere around that range?
Exactly 30 days from prejudging is when that video was where I tore my pec doing the dumbbell presses. And what's crazy is that weight felt extremely light and comfortable and safe for me. And as a matter of fact, before I did it, I thought to myself, man, I should probably do 75 or 80 kilo dumbbells because I think it'd be pretty easy to do like 80 kilos today. And I thought, no, we're 30 days from prejudging. There's no need for risk of injury. I'm going to go light. I'm just going to squeeze real hard. And it felt great. And then it went. And I saw not just the season flash before my eyes and I thought it was over with. I thought my whole career could potentially be over with depending on how it looked. But man, I'm telling you what, I just posted a YouTube video of training chest the other day. It's 100%. And you can, if I never mentioned it to anyone, you would never know because there's no aesthetic issues at all. I've actually torn muscles in the past and same thing. I never talked about it. I have videos of that happening too, but I just never wanted to mention it because I thought, the way that social media is, people will start saying, oh, I can see where which you can't. So it's pretty crazy that, yeah, it happened 30 days before prejudging and then it healed in that time. It healed really quick.
So, because like I've had full muscle tears. This clearly couldn't have been a full tear. Did you have the MRI and did they give you like a percentage of what the tear was?
Yeah, it was, I don't know what the grades are. My wife said it wasn't as bad as it could have been by any means. Like I didn't need surgery. There was no aesthetic issues. It was just some muscle fibers that wanted to go and yeah.
Yeah. So were you doing like a gallon of BPC 157 a day and like deep tissue every day? Because that's very little time to bounce back.
Yeah, there's definitely different peptides people can use for, quick recovery when they're injured, and so reducing the inflammation is super important. So we were definitely taking every precaution that we could. I iced it I think I iced it 3 or 4 times a day. I obviously didn't train hard. You would see me kind of doing those kind of squeezes like this on the plate loaded press, but it was only like 1 plate or 2 plates, something like that. So I had to really baby it. I could not do any massage. That's another thing that people I think get wrong when they get injured like this is they think, okay, well, I need to stretch it, I need to massage it, and that's probably the worst thing that you can do for it. I pretty much just kind of held it like this for the most part for a couple weeks, iced it, and then I would do a little bit of like active range of motion until it would, okay, that feels pretty good. All right, that doesn't hurt too bad, but I can still feel it's kind of sore. I would just kind of play around with that, squeeze it, do my posing and stuff, and just ease back into the training. But yeah, man, it was one of those things where it was just like, again, man, like I have to give the glory to God, because I remember I'm like, on paper, this shouldn't make sense. Like on paper, I should just be done. That's it.
Yeah.
Season's over. And like literally by the grace of God, it was healed. Again, obviously we took, certain measures to be able to heal it quickly. But man, like it should have been like a 6 to 8 week minimum recovery. And it was like a 30-day recovery.
Yeah. I mean, this is 30 days later right here we're looking at. And, I never would have, even if you told me it was there, I'm looking, I still can't see anything on that pec.
Yep.
But psychologically,
actually, you know what's funny? Ron? Remember how I said like I didn't mention any of the past injuries because people would point it out and say, "Oh, well, I can see this injury or that injury." Actually, if anything, it may have helped my chest development even better.
What? You got to explain that.
Well, there's been other people in the past that have torn stuff, and they said actually after they tore it, they felt like it improved. I think Tonio Burton just mentioned how he tore his lat on one side, and he thought it helped improve his lat. I remember Ben Pekulski told me that he tore his calves and they improved. So I'm not suggesting people need to be tearing stuff. That is not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you tear a muscle, it's not the end of the world, and you can definitely bounce back and it be just as good or better than it's ever been. So yeah, I'm very thankful. They're very thankful that it wasn't any worse than it could have been.
Absolutely. I mean, and in the cases you talked about, I think what I have talked to guys who've said the same thing. They learned how to make a little more moderate weight feel heavier and get a better connection with the muscle instead of just powering up mega weights like they had been doing prior to that. Was that the case with you? Has your chest training changed? Do you think you have a better connection to feel for it now?
I think my entire training changed. I had to not go so heavy on back movements because that movement could also interrupt your chest as well, shoulders, arms. So even coming down to like my leg training, it made me realize like, hey, like we're close to a show. There's no reason that I need to go crazy heavy, whatever. So it definitely actually was, I think, more of a blessing in disguise because it kind of rewired my brain to go, oh, you don't have to just keep training like a maniac all the way to the show like I've done in the past. I can definitely like kind of pull up a little bit and just be a little smarter, which again, I thought that's what I was doing, but clearly it wasn't.
You're still learning. People forget what are you, 30, 32 now?
Yeah, 32. Yeah.
That's it. That's your 32. My daughter will be 32 in April. You're a kid.
Yeah.
You're a grown-ass man, but you're a kid in bodybuilding.
I love it. I'm in that sweet spot where we haven't quite hit the prime yet, I feel like.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think you have quite a few good years ahead of you.
Yeah.
We got guys turning pro at 40 these days, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the year, because this Triple Crown obviously didn't exist because we didn't have a Pittsburgh Pro show until this year. But at what point did you decide after the Olympia, I'm going to do all 3 of those shows next year?
Well, I knew right away that I felt like I should do the Arnold. Like my physique maybe wasn't in the place that it should have been coming off the 2024 Olympia to prepare and do the Arnold Classic this year, but I just kept feeling in my heart, man, that I was supposed to do that show. Like I just need to do the Arnold Classic. And then come to find out, you know, my late grandmother, she was very encouraging of me doing the Arnold Classic. And I thought that could have been her last show that she could come watch, which it ended up being the last show that she was able to watch.
Wow.
But yeah, for that reason, for my own mindset to keep going, for maybe inspiration and motivation to other people to not quit and believe in himself and keep going. And then yeah, of course, knowing that the Pittsburgh Pro was, or sorry, that this was the first year that the Pittsburgh Pro was going to have the open category and the expo, I thought to myself, I'm like, you put these shows together, these are the three biggest and best shows of the entire year. And so I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to do something that's never been done before. I want to do something that people tell me can't be done, don't try. I want to be the first, maybe only, to ever do this. Like, it excites me at the thought of doing something that nobody's ever done before. I get the most thrill, the most excitement, and just I that's what gets me up and moving every day, is doing things that people say can't be done, it'll never be done. I say, okay, well, let me try, because if I try and I fail, then there's no harm, no foul, right? It doesn't hurt anybody to try, right? But if I succeed and I accomplish it, then I just made history, and I just shocked the world. And so that's what I wanted to do. And like I said, I mean, thank God, like it all worked out the way it did. I think it was not an easy task. It was definitely uh, tough to compete at these major shows spread out throughout the year. Uh, Obviously, it's not impossible to do, but I'm thankful to be a part of this group of bodybuilders in this era, because this is some of the greatest bodybuilders ever in history, and being able to compete against them at these major shows is, I mean, we're all in this together to take bodybuilding to another level, right? So uh for one, I'm just honored to be standing next to these great bodybuilders, these great champions, but to be leading them as the Mr. Olympia, I mean, what more could a guy ask for, and to write history, being the first Triple Crown winner, the first Pittsburgh Pro champion, um all the things you rattled off. I mean, it's an honor, man. I mean, you got to believe in yourself, but it's not over till your name is called the champion. And so, believe me, it was a fight all the way to the end.
I'll be honest with you. I did not have a lot of confidence, faith, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
in your ability to win the Olympia, because you had done those two shows. I'm like, it's too many shows. I don't know how he's going to peak, because Arnold peaked perfectly.
Yeah.
No doubt. Pittsburgh, your legs had lost the fullness again. And I'm like, uh-oh, because the way they had it, the 23 Olympia.
Yeah.
So like, what's going to happen at the Olympia? Which Derek are we going to see? And that's a very specific question, but how did you manage to make sure your legs were full again? Because have you figured out, you and Aceto, what makes them flatten out and what keeps them full?
Yeah, I think it was just a different strategy at each show. Pittsburgh was a good look, but it wasn't my best look. I don't think. I definitely envisioned having a little bit different look going into that show. I don't like to make excuses, Ron. Just like, tearing my pec before the Olympia, not making excuses. Same as like coming off the Olympia last year and my physique needing to bounce back going into the Arnold. So I don't like to make excuses for Pittsburgh Pro either. But I will say, with my grandmother being in hospice that week, and she ended up passing away like 20 minutes prior to prejudging.
Oh my goodness.
I definitely know that had an effect on me. Like, I didn't admit it, but my wife kept saying, look, like, this definitely had more of an effect on your physique than you realize, because I was literally crying in between every meal.
Wow.
When people would leave the room, I would just cry until like Aceto and Matt and Jelson would come back to the room. And then right before they come back, I would kind of wipe my face and pretend like everything's fine. And then, Chris would look at me and tell me what to eat and do. And they'd leave the room again. And then I would just do the same thing over, cry. And that was kind of my prep for the Pittsburgh.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, she was. I don't know who else. I got the privilege of meeting your grandmother a few times.
Yeah.
What a
Yeah.
sweetheart. I mean, she was.
Yeah.
I believe she was in a wheelchair the
Yeah.
most of the time that I knew her.
Yeah.
But she always had your shirts on.
Oh,
She
yeah.
so proud of you. She was your number one
Yeah.
fan. So
Absolutely.
I mean,
And I don't want to make this like, a sad talk, it's not supposed to be that. It's just one of those things where like so many different factors and variables can impact someone's physique. Like you can have a perfect prep the whole time, and then just at the last little bit, things can go wrong. Or you could have a messed up prep where you're like, I don't know how this is going to turn out. And then all of a sudden, man, that's your best look of all time. So that's kind of the point of me bringing it up, is that it's not like, oh, let's feel sorry and have a sad talk. It's more of like, hey, like this is just what was happening, and why I brought the look that I did. Yeah, definitely the Arnold look was I like that look a lot, but I also like the look of the Olympia too, because kind of going back to what we were discussing before, is like we're in a competition, right? Of course you want to bring your best physique, but you have to understand who the competitors are too. And so I knew that you were going to have the full lineup at the Olympia. We had the big guys, like when I say big, I meant more of like the tall guys, and weight wise at the Arnold. We had Samson and Andrew second, third at the Arnold. So my extra conditioning, I think, is what helped me win that show, along with my aesthetics at the Arnold. So conditioning and aesthetics, I think, is what gave me the win at the Arnold, and then a combination of that with a little bit fuller look at the Olympia is what gave me the edge at the Olympia. Is what made me stand out, especially against Hadi. Because Hadi's always ripped.
yeah.
But whenever I stood next to Hadi at the Olympia, I looked quite a bit bigger than he did. So I think that's what definitely pushed me over the edge for the Olympia versus the Arnold look. And so for you asking, which, physique are we going to get from Derek? Well, it just depends on which show we're going to compete in, and who's standing there, and what we think is the most competitive look for that show. And, I think Chris has arguably the best eyes in the sport. So
Yeah, I mean, you've been fortunate enough to work with two of the absolute best coaches in the history of the game. Hany Rambod needs no introduction. I don't need to rattle off what he's done. And Aceto, I mean, this was a guy that put coaching on the map many years ago. I don't know if we'd even have a coaching industry now if it hadn't been for Chris Aceto and paving the way.
I'm super thankful to be able to work with the best of all time, So again, I want to bring back Jay Cutler's name. I mean, he won a couple Olympias with Chris and then made his comeback with Hany.
Yeah.
Well, I won a couple Olympias with Hany, and then I made my comeback with Chris. So I think that's kind of cool too, to kind of do the flip-flop of Jay Cutler.
I don't want to get into controversy. I said I wouldn't, but Pittsburgh, I thought it could have gone either way. Obviously, you both looked fantastic that day. But I knew whoever won, the fans of the other guy were going to be pretty upset. If Nick had won, there were going to be a lot of Derek Lunsford fans that would not have been pleased. And it did go your way. And we saw a lot of Nick Walker fans irate on social media for a while. How do you, I know you've dealt with this before, like when you've gotten beaten by people, or you've beaten people that had huge fan bases. Does that bother you, or how do you not let it bother you when you have all these social media posts and videos going, Derek got a gift and my guy was robbed?
Well, look, Ron, I'm a human being, so people saying negative things or positive things can definitely have an effect on a person when it's just repetitive over and over and over and over and over, and it's all you see. Not just talking about the Pittsburgh Pro, but really just even the Olympia. Like, let's look at the Olympia too, where this is the first year in history where I've heard two people got robbed at the Olympia. How can two people get robbed, Ron?
Yeah,
Tell me that. How can two people get robbed at a bodybuilding show and somebody else win? Now, tell me that just isn't
all the
fans.
Hadi fans were mad, but the Andrew fans were mad too. I'm like, well, Andrew fans, you would have been mad if Hadi had won too. So you guys got to make up your mind. You can't all be robbed. You're right.
So here's the point I'm making is that, I've said it before, it's really unfortunate that we have these, whether they're the past Olympians and bodybuilders, or whether they're these, podcasters that, I don't even want to say they report on bodybuilding. It's not even really reporting on bodybuilding. It's more of just creating entertainment from the bodybuilders. Is that I just wish there was a lot more uplifting, because people want to start these controversies and things because they say that that's what helps the sport. But really what they're doing is that they're tearing down the athletes. And that's why you never hear me talking down about my competitors, because I don't think that, first of all, I respect them and I think that they're great champions and I know what it takes to be at that level. But I don't think it really helps. I think that, what it does help is someone's own internet channel, social media channel, and that's it. They might be fooling themselves thinking that they're helping the sport grow, but really they're limiting them. Because imagine if this, instead of saying that somebody else should have won, what if you went out and said, man, this guy just made history this year. This guy just did something that nobody ever said would be possible. And everybody got behind that. And then the actual mainstream social media channels or mainstream anyone would come by and go, wow, this is crazy. Look what's happening in bodybuilding right now. Like bodybuilding is at an all-time high. And like, let's bring this Mr. Olympia guy, on, and let's expose bodybuilding more into the mainstream, versus just everybody's just kind of like trying to take a little piece of the pie for themselves, right? And I feel like there's just way too much fake news in the bodybuilding media. People are always trying to come up with some sort of headline, some sort of clickbait, something that's entertaining for their channel, not for bodybuilding, but for their channel. And they do it off the backs of the bodybuilders, right? And to a whole sport and industry that's trying to grow and provide opportunity for more people to do this. Look at the prize money now. And if you can't tell me that right now isn't the best time to be a bodybuilder, you're crazy. You can win $1 million in a year.
You did.
Or less. Yeah. So it's like, and not even to mention like the contracts and being able to open up your own businesses. Like I have my gym here now too. It's like, this is a great time to be a bodybuilder. And imagine if we pushed the top guys and actually talked more positive about them. Because if we did, we would be able to push them to do bigger, greater things instead of trying to tear them down all the time, whether it be trying to tear down their physique or their character, or try to create some sort of false narrative. I mean, Ron, I've been at the top of the Olympia, whether it be the 212 division or the open Olympia, for the past decade.
Yeah.
So I've got to witness and see a lot, and I just wish that we could come together, man, and actually do the right thing and push this sport to the next level in a positive way, instead of trying to be greedy and to just
I know what you mean.
Be selfish and be greedy and do it off the backs of the bodybuilders and try to shine a negative light. You know what I mean? On them.
It's kind of sad commentary that when someone like yourself, you are always positive. I've never heard you. Well, with occasion, you might have said some things about some trash talk, trying to get some excitement going about Nick or whatever. But for the most part, you're always a very positive guy. And as a result of that, I hear people say, "Well, Derek's so fake," because they expect, because you're supposed to be negative and you're supposed to bitch and moan and talk shit about people. And you have religious faith, and for these reasons, people go, "Oh, nobody can really be like that. It must be all an act."
Ron, I hear more times than I can count. Whenever I meet people in person for the first time, man, you're really just like the same guy as I see on your YouTube channel, or anytime that you're on social media, you're literally the same guy. Do you know how many times I hear that?
Yeah.
Now, Ron, let me ask you this. Who are those people that are saying Derek's fake?
Fake people, I guess.
Probably no. I'm not saying they're fake. No,
Yeah.
no. They're the people that's never met me. They never gave me a chance,
Of
Ron.
course.
Ron, you tell me, am I the same guy or not? You've known me for how
You're
long?
the same guy that I met in Las Vegas in July of 2017.
Yeah.
You know, when me and Sean Ray were covering the USA. You haven't changed a bit. You know, even the fact that you're doing my podcast, I only have like 11,000 subscribers. You know, you could have easily just blown me off, saying, I'm only going to do Joe Rogan's podcast or something like that,
That's it.
or Olympia TV. But no, here you are. No, yeah, I want to get into some more positive stuff. So let me go to your Instagram here, because you've
And
had.
that's another thing too, is like, I got to go back for Thanksgiving to Indiana and see all my family and stuff, which was great because it was the first time in a long time I got to be with, my extended family. A lot of times we're missing a handful of people and we just can't get everybody together. So it was great. But while I was back in Indiana, man, I was going to the gym and I got to catch up with people that I met whenever they were the first people I ever told I want to be a bodybuilder. Let's put it that way. And they said, "Man, like you're still coming back here, and you're representing us, and we love it. We support you, man, and like you're just the same guy." I'm like, "Well, I hope I'm a little bit better than I used to be, but at least down to earth, right? Like it's like you can't forget where you come from. You can't forget those morals and values. You know what I mean?"
Well, you know, if you think about the people who are still have tremendous fan bases many years after retired, we mentioned Jay Cutler.
Yeah.
Jay is the same guy that I met. I met him in 93 or 94 when he was like 20 years old. And he's exactly the same person. If anything, he's a better person now than he was back then, if that can even make sense.
Yeah,
But
you
yeah,
got to be right.
I mean, that's why. And Jay, as popular as he is and everything, everywhere he goes, I see the fans come up and he takes time for everybody. He'll sit there and talk to somebody for 10 minutes, take all the pictures they want. And he's got a line of people and he's probably got a million things to do and places to be, but he's doing that. But, so let's see, what's changed in your life since the last time we talked over 2 years ago? Well, you got married, right? I think that
Got
was
married. I have one daughter that's almost 2 in January. I have a second daughter that is coming in February.
Wow.
So exciting news.
Yeah, I'm trying to find pictures of you and your daughter now, but that was the one thing I want to ask you. How has that changed your life? Becoming a dad, does it give you a new meaning, a new purpose to your life now that it's not just you anymore? Now you're doing it for a whole other human being that depends 100% on you.
Right. No, it's funny. Like any dad will know what I'm talking about when I say when you become a dad, you get this extra gear that you never knew you had, and you just do it, right? Like so when normally you'll be exhausted, you can see the pictures there sometimes where I'm sitting there exhausted in the gym. Uh, but when my daughter comes up to me and she wants my attention, I mean, you just be dad, it's because you love her. You don't even think about it. It's not even like a thing when she wants to come up and eat my food on prep. You're starving. Anybody else try to take your food, you're gonna smack them away, but your daughter, you have to. It's like it's just your daughter. You love her so much, so you just have this extra gear that you never knew you had in you, and so definitely you have more of a purpose now than just for yourself. Now you're doing it for the one you love.
Yeah. And I mean, I know this is kind of trivial in the big grand scheme of things, but when you're making money for yourself, that's one thing. But when you're able to be setting aside money for someone's entire future, which I'm sure you're probably putting already college funds away for your daughter and so forth. That's got to be another type of motivation too. This isn't. I'm not just achieving and succeeding and earning for me now. It's for someone else and their future.
Yeah, and definitely, definitely money, finances is one thing, but also like just the impact, not just the impact you're making in your own life and to the rest of the world, but we talked about like morals, values, standards that you have for yourself. You're showing that in your action to your daughter, to your, whoever, your son or daughter. And I just think that that's what drives me more than anything. If I can just be the best me and show that every single day, wake up and show that, even and especially when you don't feel like it, I think that that's what I want her to learn more than anything, is just to be a good person and to work hard, and all these things that I'm trying to do for myself, for the world in a positive way. I want that to reflect onto her, and if you add value to others, it'll be brought back to you. And so if you want to talk the money, yeah, if you add value to others, it's going to be brought back to you. And so it isn't even really my first thought, but it's just kind of like a side effect to your hard work and your focus and your drive and your tenacity, right? So
Yeah. How do you make time? Because in the old days, we're talking way before you were around, fathers weren't necessarily known for spending quality time with their kids. They would work hard all day, come home, crack a beer, watch TV, go to sleep, pretty much. I think we have a different way of looking at parenting
probably
now.
crack a protein shake.
But you're obviously a busy guy. You got your own gym. We're going to talk about in a minute. You're preparing for shows. You're going to all these appearances and everything. How do you make sure you make time for your daughter?
It's tough, man, but I do my best to try to compartmentalize everything I got going on. I mean, let me not be too quick to skip over my wife. Okay, my wife is an incredible wife, but I would say even better mother. Like, she is a great mother to our daughter, and she also is here running the gym. So she does like a lot of the day-to-day stuff and the back end stuff that people don't see, for this to be possible. So we have a great team around us, but my wife is super supportive, and she knows what I need for me to be the best bodybuilder and businessman, along with family member, friend. We have to we all wear different hats in life, right?
Yeah.
And so just trying to do our best to give energy to each one of those when we can. And there's a time where you don't have much balance. I don't really get to do the family things that I like to do while I'm getting ready for a show. Um, so when I do have that time, then I definitely want to put that at the top of my priority list so that it creates a little bit more balance. But even whenever I don't have much time and I'm getting ready for a show, if my daughter wants my attention, then I have to give it to her, right? Like, maybe there's times where I'm in the gym and I'm training and I'm focused and she doesn't come around the gym. But if I'm at home and I'm working on my phone or I'm doing something, she may only want 5 seconds of my time, And so if she's there and she says dada, well, I'm gonna give her my fullest and undivided attention, the best that I can, right? I'm trying to be as consistent as I can with this. Um, so I'm going to give her that attention. And again, sometimes only for 5, 10, 15 seconds, and then she's off playing and doing something else. But just being able to do my best to pay attention to how much time I'm spending um, in the gym, my training, along with the podcast. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
The business side of things, as well as, like, okay, am I spending enough family time? Am I spending enough friends time? Do I have enough alone time? I think understanding that we need all of these things throughout life is important. There's going to be times, like I said, where you have to give 80% to your training, and 20% to the rest of the stuff in life. But um, it's important to have someone there to support you, for sure.
So I've known a lot of guys who waited until they were all done with competing. They're probably late 30s, early 40s by the time they finally got married and had kids. You could have done that yourself, but you would have missed out on these years you're having now as a young. I was married, had kids very young myself, and I have no regrets. I think you're better off than being the 65-year-old guy at your kid's high school graduation. Did you, was that ever a consideration for you? Like, maybe I should wait until I'm all done with this bodybuilding stuff?
I felt like it was perfect timing, to be honest with you. I felt right before we had her, I felt like I was ready. Like, I was like, okay, I want to be a dad now, and and at the time I'm like, I know it's gonna make things harder, doing what we do, but it's well worth it. And let me tell you, man, like, I wouldn't even be the bodybuilder that I am if it wasn't for her. It completely changed the way that I think about life and just everything, man. Like she just look at that. How can you not love that? You know what I mean? How like that's what you're doing it for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just you're right. I don't want to skip out on those moments in life. I definitely want to take the opportunity to do what I can in my career, but it's it's being a dad is special. Being a dad is special, and luckily we were able to have one, and now we have a second one. Because
Nice.
some people aren't able to, and we were just thankful that we were able to, and we didn't want to wait too long to keep guessing, is it ever going to be possible? Because of course,
Right.
we want kids, so we just thought that was the right time.
All right. Another great thing that you've added to your life since I've spoken to you last is you've got your own
Yeah.
gym, which is every
Yeah.
bodybuilder's dream is to have your own gym where you can have all your best equipment and just you and your buddies can train. And Champs Elysium Gym, how did that come about? And I guess it's been private up until next month. You're going to open it up to the public, correct?
Well, right now, actually, we have opened it up to the public. I just haven't really been promoting it too much because we keep having more and more and more people want to come check out the place, which is awesome. That's what we wanted. We opened up this place because of that. But it is a semi-private gym, so when the memberships get to, when they're we cap the memberships, we're just going to stop uh, giving them out until we feel like the gym is comfortable to train in again, because we don't want it to be too busy in here. And as of right now, it's not been too busy, but again, more people are coming, and we love that. We want to be able to have day and week passes year round for people to come check out the gym if they're from out of town. But yeah, like I said, it's a semi-private gym, so that way everybody can train comfortably and on that good old new tech equipment, man.
Yeah. So when you were training for for all your shows in 2025, was the gym just you and your training partners? Did you keep it complete closed off at those times?
Yeah, so well, we were having trouble actually opening it too, because of permits. We had a couple hurricanes here in the Tampa Bay area,
Yeah.
and so that definitely kind of slowed some things up on getting it open. But it was nice to be able to train here for the last couple Olympias, just with me and a few others. So yeah, that's what we did. And then right after the Tampa Pro, we opened up just before this year's Olympia. We had three Olympia champions: myself, Ramon Dino, and Eduarda,
Oh yeah.
all training here. We had, of course, there you see Mac Grego,
Yep.
Eric Wildberger's been here from Brazil, but we had Mateus from Brazil in the classic physique division. We had Ali Bilal, who placed second in the men's physique at the Olympia and won the Arnold Classic. We had Zama in the women's physique, placing third, and we had several other top 5, top 10, top 15 Olympians training in our gym. So, and also too, like a lot of people are into the fitness influencers, bodybuilding influencers. We have like the Trend Twins here, James
Hmm.
English, a lot of people that are coming through here, influencers. They're loving it, man. It's great.
Yeah. Did because I know before Dragon's Lair was in Las Vegas, Flex Lewis had one in Boca Raton that
Yeah.
it was really just a private gym. But I
Yeah.
am I right? Am I right? Did you get to train there for a while?
Yeah. I've been there. I think I went once or twice. I can't remember. It's been so long, but yeah, he allowed me to come in and train with him. Oh, that's a funny video.
Oh my goodness.
That dude's strong, man.
I bet he is. I
Oh,
bet
he
he
is
is.
super strong.
I mean,
Makes me nervous.
those legs are like
Yeah.
what's that? A turkey? What do you call that thing? The leg of the turkey? Super thick and strong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wish you all the success with that place. That looks like an awesome gym.
Yeah. Oh, we had a seminar. Yeah. That was the Hurricane Pro week, the week after the Olympia. And we held a seminar here with a bunch of Olympians, and was thankfully able to sponsor the Hurricane Pro. So that's another thing that we want to do too, to give back to the sport, is we want to be able to do some cool things for new pro bodybuilders and the open category. That may be some shows this next year, but I don't want to announce it just yet what we want to do, but we definitely want to give back to the bodybuilding community in more ways than just opening up a gym. We want to definitely contribute directly back to the shows and specifically the athletes.
Yeah, I've noticed that the Tampa area in particular seems to have those like seminars and posing clinics.
Yeah.
They pop up a lot more. There's, up in New England where I'm at, there's nothing like that. Bevan Steve's gym once or twice a year, they have meetups like that. But I don't know, Tampa, you've been in Tampa now for quite a while. I think like 6-7 years.
Yeah.
Obviously it's very different from Indiana, but there's, I'd say there's 3 main hubs of bodybuilding now. Not LA isn't one of them. Tampa has to be one, and that's you got you and a ton of other people there.
Yeah.
Vegas, obviously, and now the Dallas Fort Worth area. But what do you like most? Because you've had a lot of time to reflect on the differences between Tampa and Indiana.
No, I love it here, man. I mean, it's great to go back and visit where you come from, but I was just back there, man, yesterday, and it was cold. I do not miss the cold weather. So it's pretty much shorts and t-shirts year round here in Florida, and I love it. So Tampa specifically is, I think, the #1 fastest growing city in America. I mean, I could be wrong. It's either 1 or 2, but for many years, this place has been booming, and I don't see it slowing down, especially if we get no property taxes here in Florida.
Wow.
Because we already have no state income tax. But the weather is amazing. People are flooding in, bringing all their businesses. And this, I mean, I'm just telling you, man, this is the place, especially for fitness and bodybuilding. There's so many pros and influencers and stuff here for, the fitness and bodybuilding community. So this was one of the best decisions I probably ever made, was to move to Tampa.
Absolutely.
For sure.
All right. So I guess I want to get to the point about next year. Maybe you've already announced all your plans and so forth, but I get behind. I'm old and slow, so sometimes I lose track. What is your plan for 2026? Are you only doing the Olympia? Are you going back to Pittsburgh? I don't think you're doing the Arnold. I mean, clear it up for me because I'm confused.
Well, Ron, you get the pleasure of hearing it for the first time, I guess. Yes. Which I thought that I told everybody back at the Olympia that I wanted to focus on my family, because my daughter is going to be born in February, right before the Arnold. So I felt like this was God telling me I needed to take a step away from the stage this year and just focus on family, business, and then coming back to defend the Olympia title next year. But that being said, I do plan to be attending these shows. So I'll be at the Arnold Classic, be at the New York Pro, Pittsburgh Pro, Tampa Pro, of course. But yeah, I think we will most likely just focus on the Olympia this year.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something, man. The Arnold Classic, Pittsburgh Pro, there's a reason those are the best 2 shows of the year, is because they are, the best competitors come there because they are the best ran shows of the year and the most prestigious titles. So I tell you this, man, like, doing those shows was something I'm very proud of doing. And I wouldn't put it past doing the Arnold in the future.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, the money is just getting finally the money's getting really good in bodybuilding, and I'm so happy for your generation of bodybuilders, because I can remember when Arnold was like $50,000, the Olympia was like 60 or 70. It wasn't anything people could really live on. They still had to have other jobs or sponsorships or something.
Yeah.
So did I get the scoop, or have you already said all that you're only doing the Olympia?
Yeah, it looks like I'll probably just do the Olympia in 2026.
Fair enough. And I guess my final question is, you're already at this level where your physique looks the way it does. It's already won the Olympia twice, the 212 Olympia, the Arnold Classic, Pittsburgh, all these shows. When you look at your physique, and I assume Chris Aceto has a say in this too, you have an off season coming ahead now, a good substantial off season. What do you really want to focus on? What do you want to be better the next time we see you on that Olympia stage?
If I can bring the conditioning and sharpness of the Arnold with the fullness that I brought to the Olympia, it's game over.
Yeah, because I mean,
game over.
not only do you want to be the undisputed champion, which it's never undisputed. There's a
wait a minute. Hold on. Let me correct you.
Yeah.
I am the undisputed champion of 2025.
Well, that's true. You did win.
Not only did I win the Olympia, but I actually won the Arnold and the Pittsburgh. Now, why do I mention those? Is because we had Samson and Andrew at the Arnold, and we had Nick and Martin in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So I didn't just win one time against these guys. I won twice. Hadi was the only one that I beat once, and I think if he would have showed up at the Arnold, and I showed up the way that I looked, I still would have won.
Yeah. Well, there's really nobody in that top 10 that you haven't beaten now, and it's most of them you've beaten multiple times now. But yeah, when I say that, no one's ever going to have a perfect physique. There's always going to be something in anybody's physique. Someone could say, well, this could be better, that could be better. So my question, let me rephrase it, was when you look at your physique, what do you want to be better next time we see
you? Like I said, for me, it's not like I need to put on a ton more size. I just need to refine what I presented at the Olympia. So, I definitely think that what I brought at the Olympia, if I could bring a little bit more refinement to that, it's tough to beat. I really, if you look at the scorecards from prejudging at the Olympia, it was pretty unanimous, So it was really only a competition between me and Hadi when it came down to the scorecards.
Yeah.
Again, not saying that, Andrew didn't look great. Samson always looks great. But it really was at the end of the day against me and Hadi for that second place. And at prejudging, though I actually did, lose in points at finals, it was pretty unanimous at prejudging. So again, if I can bring the size with the sharpness of the Arnold, that's going to be a very dangerous physique to beat.
And do you think taking the full year between shows is going to be an advantage? Because that's why I thought Hadi was going to have an advantage over you last year. Is like Hadi's well rested. Hadi hasn't been in prep all year like you have. And now you're going to be in that situation that Hadi was in at this past Olympia.
I think if it was to be like March and September or March and October, just 2 shows, or even like the Pittsburgh and like May and then the Olympia, I think doing something like that, like a couple shows like that, would be no problem. But doing the 3 shows all year was very taxing. So the 3 shows definitely made it hard. And I would say this year I have more in me to bring a better physique by resting because of that. But if I was to do 2 shows spread out, I think that's quite doable,
Yeah, I mean,
Does
I
that
don't
make
know how
sense?
you did it this year. This year was insane.
Yeah.
The way you
Because I'm not trying to pretend like, oh, well, I have all this rest now. Now I'm really going to be 100% this time. I think I presented a great physique at all 3 shows. Everybody has their favorite look from those 3, but I don't think waiting the full year is going to give me that much more of an advantage than I had this year. So I'm not gonna pretend like I do, because I do think that I could do another show before the Olympia and be perfectly fine. But again, this year with giving up all of last year competing like I did, putting family and business on the back burner, I think putting more into that right now is important. Making sure that I'm healthy, making sure that I'm spending time with my family and our new baby girl that's going to be born soon, and in our businesses. So that way, whenever I come back to the Olympia, it's all gas, no brakes. And then what will we present at the 2027 competition season? I don't know. Like I said, this year, I think 2026 should be focused on the Olympia and those other things I just mentioned. Whereas 2027, I could see myself doing more, depending on how, again, you don't ever want to get ahead of yourself, but if all goes well, I could see that playing out in that way.
Awesome, man. Cool. Well, you've been so generous with your time, Derek. I thank you very much. It's been way too long since I talked to you, and always good to catch up. glad we finally did it. So appreciate you, sir. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
And that's it. So, guys, thanks for watching Raw Non Report. Drop a comment below. I'm sure you have some comments. That's what we're here for on YouTube. And I'm here for it. And that's it. Thanks for watching Raw Non Report with your Mr. Olympia champion, Derek Lunsford. We'll see you